When we started Apple, didn't know anything about patents. We didn't see any dollars at the end of the rainbow, just doing things for the fun of it, and didn't really pay much attention to patents until we got together with the Apple II and really decided to make it a real company. And that was about a year in. So it was when we moved out of the garage, among other people, we got attorneys and patent attorneys. Sat down and kind of explained to us some rules that we had to follow. You know, as an engineer, you know when you've taken an approach that's different than standard, different than normal, better in some way, saves some components, saves some cost to build, works faster than the other approaches.
The benefits of patents to QuickTime strongly relate to, again, Apple differentiating itself against other computer companies. And I think QuickTime, we've done that in a very big way. And I would expect the influence of QuickTime to really extend and expand over the next decade. And I think it's really important to try and establish it as a standard. And as part of that process, it would be very advantageous to have as many patents as possible. I think we should probably be patenting other parts of QuickTime as well.
You know, I don't think it makes that much difference to the average consumer that this thing is patented. They just want a great product. But it does enable you, knowing that you put a big investment into this product, that if you've got it protected, you can then go on and make more great products. You know, if everybody can rip it off, then the millions of dollars that we're spending to develop Newton will be wasted if somebody can just look at it and say, oh, that's a great idea, and here's my version of it.
I think patents are not only important in terms of securing the rights of Apple for a return on the investment that we make in research and development, but it's equally important as a recognition of the great invention of our engineers. It's really something that they can look to and we can look to as a documented evidence that something important has been created and no one else has done anything like it.
The things that we apply for patents on here in the Interface Group are really quite different than what you might think of as conventional patents. They're really ways people interact with the machine. And for example, we have a new desktop element. That's something we've applied for a patent on. It's going to be something that's visible in the display, but it's not a piece of hardware or a circuit board, or it's somehow a way that people deal with the machine in software.
Ever since I was a little boy, I've always wanted to be an inventor. And going through engineering school, I've always wanted to invent. And being at Apple, it gives me the ability not only to work on creative things, but at the same time come up with new and novel ideas.
I think I'm near 30 patents or something like that, and it's very nice to look at a laser printer and realize that a lot of the components in there I had something to do with. I haven't benefited in the same monetary sense as an entrepreneur would, but it is nice to realize that your ideas are embedded in a device like that, so there has to be a matter of personal pride in this as well.
This is the patent plaque that I got when my 3D patent was issued. It says here is a United States patent. It has the description of the title of the patent, two-dimensional emulation of a three-dimensional trackball, and it says inventor Michael Chen, and who is assigned to, and this is the first page of the patent. I got a bonus check, and when the patent is issued, you also get another bonus check too.
Different ideas came from different people to kind of bring the whole thing together. So that's another interesting thing, is that this particular patent involved like about 6 people, and not just one person. So collaborative efforts also are patentable depending on what the idea is.
Okay, let's take a quick look at one that got away. When we introduced the Apple II, one of the things that made it so special and easily recognizable was the case. Everybody recognized this case really quickly, and it was one of the things that really set the product apart from everything else in the business. We could have protected it with a design patent fairly easily. We didn't. So, when we started seeing things like this, they were much harder to stop. Also, things like this, they even copied sort of the Apple logo. And things that look like this one, a little bit different, but still a copy of the same old case. We could have saved a lot of money with patent coverage.
It's just a natural part of the process. I think it's necessary for all engineers to document their work. It helps them organize things better and also provides a record of the work that was done. So to me, that's just a natural part of organizing one's thought and doing the work. So I don't see it extending the product process. As a matter of fact, this organization in a lot of ways helps the product process.
So we'll be sitting in a meeting sometimes and someone will come up with an idea and we'll say, oh, that sounds like something that's patentable. So we make sure that we write it down, that we have a date there, that there are a few people around who have heard that, because it's really quite important with these interface things to make sure that we're the first ones out there and that we have documentation that we were early on.
Be careful about talking about anything that you're working on here at Apple until we get some sort of protection on file. If we merely tell somebody outside the company about the work that we're doing, that can immediately kill all rights in all foreign countries.
Patent attorneys are pretty sharp engineers anyway. They sit down with you, and I thought, nobody's going to understand what I did because it's so specialized. It didn't come out of a book. It was very unusual stuff. The patent attorney sat down and studied it and listened to me for about an hour or two and totally understood it and was able to write it into patent language pretty easily. And I couldn't understand his side, but he could understand mine.
Are there patent books in the library? We've got this whole set, including patent recipes, hiding in this one. Now, there's Patent Law, a Practitioner's Guide. That's because we continue to practice without ever getting it down. There are 3 different kinds of patents. There are plant patents, design patents, and utility patents. Design patents protect the way a device or a product looks, its aesthetic appearance. A utility patent covers basically one of 2 things, either a method or an apparatus. The basic requirements for a utility patent, the legal terms are new, useful, and non-obvious. The biggest requirement really is the one of newness. Is it new? Is it either a new thing, a new way of doing something, a new application for an old method? Any of those things can qualify as new and can be patentable.
Sometimes we come up with some really neat tricks, and those really neat tricks have never been done before. And that's one of the things you want to think about is, gee, has what I've been doing here never been done before? It might be obvious to you, but if it's never been done before, it probably isn't, and therefore is a patentable idea.
Don't try and decide if this is a terrific idea, maybe I'll go for a patent. Submit it and let the process sort it out, because you will not necessarily know up front how good this idea may be. It may be terrific and you don't realize it.
Ask somebody. Ask your supervisor at least, I think I've got something that's worth patenting. At least sit down and talk to the patent attorney and try to work out what kind of patents you might have. Don't just let it go by, and just because you don't know what patents are all about and somehow let this opportunity. If you know you've designed something good, just because there's not a patent attorney on the next desk, that doesn't mean you can't ask your supervisor, indicate that you have an interest in seeking your own patent.
There is a patent brochure that explains what patents are, what they're about, how you obtain one, what the Apple patent process is, and you can flip through that and learn quite a bit in a short sitting.
I'd like to urge every engineer at Apple to really take the process of documenting patents very seriously. We're publishing some good material on this. It's very important for the investment that we're making in invention and innovation that we have a documenting process that lets us build a portfolio of patents. Not only is it the defining measure for return on investment for Apple, but it's a great recognition of your own accomplishments. If we want Apple to be a winner in the 1990s as a company that stands out with invention and innovation, then let's make the patent process an important building block to our future.